Are you watching the finals?
I am watching the finals.
Got any thoughts?
I got a lot of thoughts. I'm
listening.
a former basketball player. You know I got a lot of thoughts
Really?
on them.
So,
I got a lot of thoughts.
are you liking it so far? Well, it's only one game, but
It's what I expected
okay.
in game one, right? Like I expected both teams to come in and just kind of like see where they at. No adjustments, no nothing. Hey, this is how we're going to play. This is how we're going to defend. We got to go through this game, and then we got to see what worked and what did not work. So the first game you expect for the most part, especially when you get to the finals, the home team possibly to win, unless you got a real seasoned team coming in. Like San Antonio Spurs can come in back in the Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan days, and they can still gain one of the finals because they're so seasoned. They've been there before. They've seen everything. They can win that game. The Dallas Maverick team that we see together, they have not even been together that long.
True.
So it's hard to say that they can just go on a road and win just by showing up. They have to get into the adjustment packages from both offensive and defensive side of the ball. So I kind of expected Boston to win game one. Actually, not easy because it ain't easy to win.
Right.
But when I watched the game, it went as I expected, and before the game, Chris Johnson, my brother, and I, we kind of went through every scenario of more so on the Dallas side of Dallas offense and what can Boston do? Because when you got a dynamic twosome like Luka and Kyrie, that makes that pick and roll that they do, and with those bigs rolling to the basket, that makes it very dynamic. So what is Boston going to do to take that away, right? Dallas was kind of rolling with their game. And Dallas did it. They switched everything. They flooded them out. They said, Luka, you're going to score. Kyrie, you're going to score. No one else is. We're not letting you get these lobs. We're not letting you get your shooters. We're going to make you guys beat us. And so it's going to take adjustments on Dallas and Luka and Kyrie's side to counter that in a sense. But we had to go through game one.
True.
Now you got to get in the lab. And now they got to see the adjustments they got to make to be able to get those lobs, to be able to get the other guys involved, because Dallas is very good when everyone is involved, even though it's so heavily Luka and Kyrie, but they're special when Gafford is getting lobs, when Lively is getting lobs, when other players are getting involved. And so, it was a typical game one for the finals for me.
Do you miss it?
The finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could just play in the finals every year, Simon. If I can work out all year and train all year and just go to training camp and not play in other games, but just get ready for the finals, sign me. No, I'm just playing. I don't watch the game like I miss it. I don't watch it like that. I watch it the same way that fans watch, not the fans at home, because I look at it different. But I mean, when I sit down and I get excited the same way a fan would get excited, right? I'm gonna get my snacks, I'm gonna get my food, I'm gonna get my drink, I'm gonna make sure that my phone is off, like whatever it is. When I'm locked into the finals for those 2 to 3 hours, however long it's gonna be, I'm locked in. But I'm not looking at the game the way that you're looking at the game. Like I'm not looking at who's dunking, who's hitting side steps, who's crossing who over.
None of that.
No. Because that don't matter to me. Not at this time of the year.
True. Okay.
This time of the year, I'm looking at execution. I'm looking at details. I'm looking at things that you will not know if you've never been there before, what you need to do to be able to reach that level to win a championship. Because you can go up 2-0.
We've seen it.
And lose 4 in a row. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can feel it. It can be right there.
Yeah.
And then it's gone, right? And so it's a lot of teams that don't know what it consists of to actually win once you go up those rounds. Like the first round is not the final round. And so if you got the same game, if you got the same effort, if you got all the same things from a first round to a finals, you don't have a chance to win, right? And so I just look at all the intricate details of something like what position is the defense in when Luka comes off a high pick and roll? The guys that's on the wing, where are you? Are you far out this way? Are you in the gap this way so he see you? Or does he see an open lane? Like I look at things like that to see what a team engagement is defensively when it comes to being able to be a good defensive team in the possession.
Are you doing that live when you watch?
I'm watching, yeah. I'm watching it and I'm thinking of that live when I'm watching it.
Wow.
Because like I said, I'm not worried about the shots. Like, Steph Curry hit shots that we like, what in the...
Right.
I'm not worried about what shot. Like, I can see like, okay, this is on this side, he like to do step backs. On this side, he like to go right. Whatever, right? We all have strengths. Like every player have strengths. So I'm not worried about the shots that they're making. I'm worried about the game. Like I'm looking at the details in the game. Like, okay, what is the coach doing? When is he calling timeouts? Right? Like when is he slowing the pace down? When is he getting the ball to this guy? Like what is going on in the game? Because I know how rhythm matters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I know how like stopping runs, not letting it go to 10 points, but stopping it at 6 points. Like I know how all these things matter when it comes to getting that win when you got two teams that are as great as the teams that reach the finals. And so the details matter more than the actual, hey, go be great. Right? Because like it's on both sides, they're like this. You got a chess match on with the coaches. So for me, man, that's kind of how I look at it. I look at all like the details of everything, and that's going to let me know if a team is prepared and ready to be able to compete and win 4 games in the finals. You can win 1 or 2 just by being good.
Right.
But to win 4, it's a level of sacrifice. It's a level of detail. It's that some people have no idea about unless you go through it to understand it and actually watch it later and see like, man, why do we lose and what did I do to help? Like, what did I do to help us?
Right.
And so I think if players are honest with themselves, once you get done with a playoff series that, especially of a certain magnitude, go watch yourself. Go watch yourself in the last 5 minutes and see like what you're doing. Because your habits that you build all year is going to show in those last 5 minutes. So if you got great habits, they will show. If you don't, they will show. And you got to look at those last 5 minutes of games and see like, okay, was I in the right position? Was I walking? Was my back to the play when it was running? Was I engaged? Was I talking to everybody? Like, what was I doing to help the cause? And this is stuff that people don't talk about. They talk about how many shots was shot or missed.
I don't talk about it. I know I don't talk about it.
Yeah, so like we watch the game differently.
Yeah.
I'm watching it like, if Luka in a high pick and roll, and I know it's 2 guys in the screen, I'm watching what that low man is doing. Luka, he's going to either shoot, he's going to either pass. Like, I know what he's doing in the pick and roll, but what is that low defender doing? Because that low defender, even though Luka is out at the half court running the pick and roll, you are important in this play because he would eventually come downhill, and that big is eventually going to roll, and that shooter is going to pull. So what are you doing? And you have to be prepared. And so you watch a lot of games where the guys on the bottom part, who is supposed to be the ones that see everything, they're not engaged. So I could tell immediately by watching that they're going to be able to get that anytime they want. And so that's not good for you if you can't stop, you know what I mean? Like certain plays or certain sets because you don't know what to do or you're not engaged or it hasn't been taught throughout the year. You know, what we did in Miami is we went over stuff over and over and over.
Till it was second nature.
Till you blew in the face. But in those moments when you don't have a timeout, in those moments where ain't no coaching gonna help you, you gotta have habits that is built over season or seasons. And so that's why you don't see a lot of teams, like you don't see a lot of Boston Celtics 2008 that come together in 1 year and win a championship because ain't no habits been built really. That's a special year for those guys. That's why that one championship that they won, feel like when they talk, you feel like they won 12. Yeah, you feel like when you hear Paul and them talk, you be like, man, how many championships did you win?
Yeah, like, yes.
Yeah, shout out to the 08 Boston Celtics. They did something special, but yeah, we stopped all that. But shout out to the 08 Boston Celtics, man. But like, it is that for me. It's like, it's really hard to get together and do that. So that championship was actually pretty dope because they was able to get together and do that. Normally, it takes so many habits being built with the same group of guys, and the same voices to help you get to the championship. That's why it's hard. You see people like, I'm in the league 7 years or 8 or 9 years before he reach and win a championship because it takes so much learning to learn how to really win at the highest level.
So that's what happened. So for layman, that's what happened for the 2011, 2010 team where you didn't have timeouts during that Dallas series and y'all couldn't figure out.
So I felt like we got beat on the same thing like in the Olympics in 2006 when Greece beat us. We got beat off a high pick and roll. We got beat off a set that we knew was going to happen. And we didn't have enough habits. We didn't have enough chemistry. We didn't have enough to be in game and be able to make those adjustments right there on the fly. So now you got to wait to a timeout and you got to hope that your coaches is focusing on that, right? To be able to stop that, right? And so when I look at us in 2010, 11, we were a very, very talented team. Scary, for most teams to say, like, they're going to win it.
Right.
But when we got down to the finals, after we got through the first couple games, then we got to the meat of it, where now these details really, really matter. We didn't have them. We didn't have them to be able to win those games and close them out. Now we had them to go to. We had enough talent to go to the finals, but we didn't have enough. We didn't have what Dallas had, right? Because they were together longer. Their core, so they knew their game. We still was figuring our game out. We was still figuring out who gonna even take the last shot, or who gonna have the ball, and so they had a game set. And once you get past those first two games, like they came and snatched the second one from us,
right?
Which we wanted to win that. But like you get into the series like 3, 4, 5, like these games, you start getting into the series now. And so game one of the finals right now, everyone's gonna say, oh, it's over. Boston beat them by 20. They don't have a chance. That's not true. Like this little tug and war gonna go on for a little while, and there's gonna be some adjustments gonna be made. But who got the habits? And you would think in this series that Boston has it because they've been together so long.
Right.
Not the coach, he hasn't been there as long, but these players have been together so long that they know each other and they know what they need to do. And Dallas is their first time kind of in this with these players. And even though they were good enough to get here, you would think they don't have enough built-in habits to be able to win 4 games without home court advantage. You would think.
You would think that, right?
But some people come along and shock you, right, as well. So I think that's what happened to us. If you go back and look at our games against Dallas, besides Game 6, when we kind of got beat a little bit worse than I wanted us to at home, like Game 6. But I think the other games were so close. Game 2 they actually came back and won, but 3, 4, and 5 were so close, and they were like possession games that they was able to get to their offensive package and the things that they do. And we couldn't even stop them. And we knew what they was gonna do, but we didn't have enough communication, enough chemistry to be like, yo, I'm here, you going, you the low man, you trapping, you go. We were kind of guessing. It's a play. We can go look at this play. It's a play in Game 2 of the finals versus Dallas when we were up 15 and they came back. Now, it's tie game. I want to say it's roughly, let's say 96, somewhere around there. And it's a play that they ran to get Dirk the ball to ISO him on Chris Bosh. Right? So if I remember that play, Dirk started on the baseline. They had a screener go down and get Dirk to kind of free him a little bit and get him the ball on the elbow. So he was doing his work on the elbows, ISO. So here go me. I'm on the weak side. I'm guarding like Deshaun Stevenson or someone like that who can make a shot, but he's not in the offense. And so now it's my job to play free safety. And I was very good free safety. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if Dirk goes to the hole, I'm going over there and I'm going to block it, right?
Right.
Weak side, I'm coming. Tyson Chandler, the other big, was on the baseline, opposite of Dirk. So like Karina is with me. And UD was low, helping a little bit, kind of like, and the reason I bring that up is because if we can go back and do it again, the communication would have been so different. UD did what he's supposed to do. He kind of got off Tyson Chandler, and he was just trying to be in position just in case Dirk drove where he can be there.
Right.
UD's a charge guy, not a shot blocking guy, right? So if he's not there so early to get that charge, then he's kind of going to be late because he's not really a shot blocker.
Right.
I'm more of a shot blocking guy than a charge guy. So I look at that and say, if we had the chemistry, we had that what we needed, it would have been automatic that UD would have stayed home on Tyson Chandler and took Tyson Chandler out the play, period. Right? If I can go back, I'll say, UD, get on his body, take him out so it's not even offensive rebound he can get. I'm going to go and be the low man. Right? And if they so happen to skip that motherfucker to Deshaun Stevenson, you go, I'll take Tyson Chandler. Like, we'll communicate. We didn't have that. We didn't have that at the time, and it was a little guessing. So I was guessing. I was like, okay, I'm going to go. But then I saw UD step up, and I'm like, and then he went. And so now we're a little late. And if you were we were this late, and UD tried to go and block it, but that should have been me. I should have already committed to doing that, and we should have already communicated that. But we didn't have that chemistry as a unit.
Right.
To be able to know those things. And it may seem like a small play, and you feel like Dirk was going to make it anyway, but I like my chances coming weak side to make that shot tough. And I like UD chances to take Tyson Chandler out of it so he can't get offensive rebound. And now, it's a different outcome.
Right.
But we didn't have that. And so that's a play that I was saying, if you ever see that play,
We're
It's
gonna
a
see
play
it.
where it was just a little like double dutch. Like it was a little like,
Right.
and then boom, it happened. And now we're off. We're not in our strengths at that point. And so they wound up getting that bucket because we wasn't set in our strengths.
So did y'all get y'all? Did the losing that series help you get your habits for the next year?
Yeah. Because you go back and obviously you come back to next year. Now you got a little bit more the same people, same voices.
Right.
Communication becomes a little different. You can talk to each other a little bit different. Right. You have a little bit more confident. But also too, you have just lost.
Right.
When you lose, your ears are open. You don't think you know everything. You know what I mean? Before that, I'm sure we thought, we knew certain things. But after you lose, you're like, please tell us what to do type, energy.
Okay.
But definitely because we had seen it. Now we in the finals the following year, and now we've been here before. We've seen it. We know each other a little bit more. We know each other game a little bit more. So our communication is so different. Even how we approach like after wins or after losses, what we did. Right? Like the second year, we was like, all right, this is all we doing. We just playing cards. We just doing this. We going to bed at this time. Like the first year, we wasn't doing that. And it wasn't like we was out in the clubs, but we was just, everybody go their separate ways after the game and we'll see each other next day on the bus. Second year, no, we all together every night in a room. We all good night together, but we playing cards, we creating a vibe, we doing this, we still building away from the game that we just played in our hotel rooms.
Like that.
We didn't do that the year one.
During the season, are you able to see the habits? So like with teams, like you're watching a game.
Yeah.
Are you able to be like, oh, that right there, that they've been practicing that habit. They've been putting time in for that habit compared to 4 games ago.
I can see it. I can watch a team on TV and I can tell how much they're practicing their habits and how many of them are actually on a string and on. You might have let's take a Marcus Smart in Boston a couple years ago. He might be someone who was a great defender, but let's say 2 other guys wasn't on the same string with him. And when I say that, meaning you got to know a Marcus Smart type of defender is going to be a defender that's going to gamble. So if I know I got a defender in the game that's going to be a gambler, then I got to know I got to be the one that's got to protect his moments of gambling. But if I don't really know like that, then I'm not focused on protecting you and you trying to do your thing. And I'm way out here on my man. Instead of being like, okay, Marcus is right there. This is a pick and roll. They're going to throw it back. Marcus is a gambler. He's going to go for that. So if he go for that steal, I got to cover both men. It's just knowing that, right? The first year, you don't really know each other. So you don't know each other really real strengths. And so you don't know how to cover for each other. And I think as you play with each other more, you start learning those habits about what a guy do. And now you know how you can all cover for each other because that's defense. It ain't just, hey, stop that guy. Not going to happen. It's, hey, if he get blown by, you got to come, you got to drop, you got to rotate.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, then you may drop, but who rotating? And then now your man get popped and now you ain't dropping the next time. Because you like, nobody rotating to my man.
Right.
And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, you got to have that constant, that trust. And that's what needs to be built. And it's not just talent. Like, it's not just a guy that can score 30 that we're going to win because he can score 30. No, that ain't going to win you a championship. That's going to win you some games. But a championship, that string that everybody needs to be on, I'm telling you.
I've heard that. And it's funny now hearing that phrase and you just kind of describing it, I get it now. I get it. I get it.
He said,
now I feel like I'm that much closer to watching basketball like you.
So let me give you another play, successful play. So everybody knows Game 6, Ray Allen shot. We all know that.
Yes, I was there.
Right, you were there. You know probably the shot. That's all you think about. It was a plays that got us to the shot that no one knows about.
Okay.
Right?
Talk to me.
So what made this so special to me is that it wasn't out of timeouts that these was happening. These were all for free throws, if you remember.
I do.
They had 2 free throws. I think it was Ginobili and Kawhi went to the free throw line. Right? Was split. They gave us a chance. But we ran a set that we had ran after practice every day. So once we got done with practice, Spo will always run sideline out of bounds, like baseline out of bounds, and end of game plays, just so we can go over them. But we were so good, we may not never get to this end of game play. We may never need this because we're regular season. We might be beating teams by 20, whatever the case, game over in the 4th. But every day we ran this play. Never had to use it until that moment. And so when I talk about habits is everybody from Mario to Ray to me, to Chris and LeBron, who was all in the game, we all needed to know what to do and what was going on in the other positions, right? And so the play that was ran was a play where on the weak side, it was me and like Ray Allen, right, on the weak side. And so I think one time I either took it out or I came up late. But my job was to get down the court, and my job was to set a back screen on Ray Allen, man, right, as the action is happening. So as the action happening, and what the action is it's a pick and roll over on the other side, which I get to. My job on the opposite side is to set an up screen, or whatever people call it, for Ray Allen. So Ray can go there, and we can just create a little maybe chaos between the two guys. But really nothing, but just some action, as other action going on. On the other side, you got Rio, Bron, Chris Bosh. So Bron, it was like a pistol. So let's say Rio come up and pitch it to Bron. Bron pitches it back to Rio. Then Bron goes off of Chris, and then he comes back off of Chris. Right? That was a play. Then Bron came off, hit the three.
Right.
Pop.
Remember that.
Okay, you remember that. We ran it again. Bron missed the three. Right? Like, you remember this.
Yes.
So when Bron missed that three, that was the same play that we ran that Chris got the offensive rebound on, right? And so I say that to say the habits of to win an important game in Game 6, to get to the shot that Ray Allen hit, are habits that was built on just one play, end of game play, that we never had to use. We had to use it to win the game. We had to use it multiple times. And if everybody don't know what to do, if one guy messes up the play, we're not sitting here with 3 rings. If Chris don't know that he got to go back and get Bron on the screen, if he just had the first one and he forgets, and like Bron's sitting there like, Chris, the whole play is messed up. But Chris knows what to do. Rio knows he got to get the ball up fast. Bron knows he got to get there. He got to come off, then he got to come back. I know I got to create some chaos over here because it's Ray Allen. Maybe if I get a good screen, we know that because we went over it time after time. If you're not doing that, that's a level of obsession that you got to have to be one of those teams that win, especially multiple times.
That is crazy because as I remember that game so vividly, and I remember the people leaving us the arena and stuff like that, and I was feeling whatever it was. And I remember that play because I remember when Bron he hit the first one, the second one it bounced, and when I tell you it almost seemed scripted. So you describing how everybody moved because everyone knew where they were supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, how did Bosh know that he was going to be there to hit that? Like, and not even realizing, and I have to look at that play again, I didn't realize you set a screen for Ray to get open there like that.
Well, not to hit the shot because that was a broken play. But I think the thing what people got to understand is it's everything is a reaction. So if Bron comes off and hit that three, which he did, the next time he comes off, Chris, man, is not going to want him to hit that three. So what he's going to do? He's going to help.
Right.
It allowed Chris to set that screen and roll to the basket with nobody in front of him, which allowed him to get the offensive rebound. Right. But if Chris don't take his screen serious, you got to take your screen serious. If I don't take my screen serious, if you go look back, you will see I nailed whoever I was screening because I just want to create some kind of something in your mind. And now it creates chaos. And in that moment, that was a chaotic play.
It was.
Everybody was out of position.
Right.
That's why they even though Tim Duncan went in the game, which would have helped them a little bit, everybody was out of position, and that's why we were able to get that. But think about Ray didn't start in the corner. No. Ray got to the corner because my job was to go up and smack Ray man, which brought Ray to the corner. Now what our guys gonna do? Are they gonna switch? Are they gonna go with Ray? Are they gonna go with me? Like what they gonna do? Right. And you got to create this doubt in this moment. And so in that play, everybody had to do their part. If Rio don't take the ball all the way down and he keep it too high, Bron don't have enough room to come off and shoot that three after he comes back around.
Right.
So it's all these details that every guy on that floor had to know without coach drawing up the play and saying, hey, you remember this? You got to do this. You got to do that. No. Whatever he called it, you got to be like, okay, it's the details in this play. What the details allow Chris Bosh to roll straight down to the basket with nobody in front of him because they didn't keep the big on Chris because Bron had just hit a three.
Right.
So now Chris roll, Bron misses, Chris go up and get it. Ray's in the corner, he's crashing, I'm crashing, and then Ray seen he had the ball, then Ray bag his ass back out. I'm just going over this play in my mind right now. But I'm looking at all the things that was happening.
Right.
And so this is how I watch basketball. I don't watch basketball with just watching the person who has the ball. I watch what all 5 guys are doing because I want to see if everybody know what to do. Is everyone engaged? Because if you have someone who's not engaged on both offense and defense, at some point, this is going to be an important part of the game. If you're not engaged defensively in the first quarter, say whatever, you're not going to be engaged in the last 5 minutes.
True.
And so if you're not engaged offensively and knowing, like setting your screens right, rolling hard, like doing all these little things that it seems like, oh, I'm not involved in the play. I'm setting the screen. They run the offense over there. I don't really need to do nothing.
Right.
Then the defense is not going to have to shift or have to make a decision. And so that's what the whole thing about, hey, setting these screens, running down fast, getting in position. You got to make the defense react and make a decision. And that's what we did by creating that chaos at the end of the game. Probably a play that I don't know if they even scouted. I have no idea if they scouted it, but Brian came off and got an open 3 the first time, so it don't look like it was scouted.
Right.
But we knew it because we ran it all year.